2, 1. Go ahead, Jeff.
My name's Jeff Erdman from Minocqua, Wisconsin, way up north, Great White North, and I'm out here running a 1916 Harley Davidson on the Salt, Model J, 12 horsepower.
Okay, and what record were you looking for today?
Record that I'm going up against is a 140 mile an hour record, but the bikes I'm racing up here, riding against up here, are 1954 and older. So I'm actually racing against a lot newer modern technology than I am. So the whole reason for me to be out here is, the motto at Bonneville is, if you got it, build it, bring it, and let's have fun. So that's what I did. I had a 1916 Harley sitting in the garage. I put it together as a race bike, brought it out here 4 years ago, and been having fun ever since. So
nice.
We've got her up to 73 miles, 73.9 right now out here at Bonneville, but down in Arkansas at the East Coast Timing Association this spring I did 77.3 down there with it. So that was a 1 mile track.
And if somebody was to ask you how much of this bike is original or built to kind of original specifications, what's the percentage of that bike that's still pretty much original?
100%.
100%.
The motor is bone stock, transmission is a stock 3-speed transmission, and the frame and forks are all from a 1915 motorcycle, but I kind of cut and redesigned the frame so I could get more rake on the front fork to do higher straight speeds, because those bikes weren't designed to go much over 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So everything on the bike is 100 years old or repurposed by me, all different things, like my brake levers off of a Model T Ford. My primary cover, I used an aluminum frying pan. Kind of stuff like that. So everything on the bike is stuff I had laying around my shop, and I just thought, this is build what you got, bring what you got kind of theory. And that's like, so I'm not going to go out and buy all this fancy stuff. I'm just going to build what I have in my shop. Whatever I got is what's going to go on there. We refabricated, repurposed, redid everything on the bike, and she's just a sweetheart of a motorcycle now.
So you're your own team.
I'm my own team. I come by here by myself. I have some friends that come up from Southern California who are working with the SCTA, and they help me out getting me back and forth from the end of the track.
Oh,
so
yeah, nice.
Which is really nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have friends like these guys from SCTA. Just a great group of people.
And that's what we found out when we started coming up here, or started talking about coming up here immediately. Joanne and Heather and everybody there was just wonderful about, no problem, we get you a media pass and we'll figure out a place to put your tent if you need it. And luckily, and God bless them for it, we didn't need it. We actually got an invitation from another team to say, come in and put your tent up, tell people that you're here, and we'll feed you. And it's just been wonderful experiences, you're talking about.
This whole place, my very first year I came here, I knew nobody. I came here by myself with the invitation from one of the members from SCTA to come out here, and I did. And since then, they've been treating me like I was their family since day one. Welcome me with hugs every time I see them. I see them all once a year, and it's like we've long lost family every time I come here. It's such a family-oriented race, and everybody cares about everybody. And if the guy next to you needs a part, you'll go over and give it to him. If you need a part, he'll come over and give it to you if you have it. But everybody's just here to work and help everybody else get down the track.
So I'm guessing as a single team, you don't have any sponsors.
I have a couple sponsors back home. One of them is a Bonnie and Clyde Gangster Park, and then Hazelhurst Pub, and then a great family called the Warnings helped me out too, who are snowmobile racers.
Okay.
And he holds the land speed record for world's fastest snowmobile.
I talked to a guy this morning about him taking 2 snowmobile engines and putting them end to end for a streamliner.
That's
because it gave him a better weight to performance ratio than using a standard motor.
Right.
Yeah. And at first I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what kind of crazy ass shit stuff is this? And then the next thing I did was I thought about the weight on the engine and what they're used for and the way they're set up, and I went, okay, I get it. It's a thinner piece to start with.
And they're higher revving engines.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It made complete sense. And so I asked him, I said, how'd you put them together? He goes, end to end. Just attach them. They'll work. I'm like, okay. I know how that goes too.
People are doing things out here that nobody's ever thought of.
Yeah.
And they just come out here and try it. It's like, if it works, great. If it don't, let's go back and try it again.
And it's not all jet cars. It's
No.
it's cars that have, or the bikes like yours that have the history of being around for a long time. Or in one case, one roadster we think's been out here 45 years or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Running consistently.
Continuously.
Yeah. Every year.
Taking many records throughout the years.
Yeah,
too. Yes.
and they were talking about passing it. They keep passing it down and passing it down, and if you accept the car, you got to come back out here with that car. And it's wonderful to see that kind of stuff that's going on. So you said the Bonnie and Clyde theme park, they help you out.
Yep, yes. And then there's a local pub called the Hazelhurst Pub that helps me out a lot. And then there's a local family who's a snowmobile racer called Keith and Meg Warning.
Okay. Yeah.
They help me out a lot too because they're racers, and it's like we know how hard it is to get out there. So
Sure.
So yeah, I got a lot of support from back home. The local newspaper supports me and writes nice articles about me. So
Okay, great.
so
Well,
and just all the friends and family I have back home, and there's just a huge support from them.
now, are you going to run the bike again?
Yes, I'll be running tomorrow again as well.
Okay. Just to kind of see where it gets to. Hopefully, the same number.
Well, either that or maybe a little better.
Yeah.
We'll try everything a little different and maybe lean out the carburetor a little bit. At 108 years old, she doesn't like this thin air real well.
But it seems to be the place to come to do it.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. This is the place to come for speed.
Yeah. Yasmin, questions, curiosities?
Well, yeah, I just wanted you to talk more about that you're your own team and you're out here doing it and showing that other people can just come out here and
Right. You don't need $1 million to come out here and race.
So,
I mean, yes, I have a very old motorcycle, but I built everything myself. I welded everything together and machined it down, and a lot of times it was just with a grinder and a file. But build it. If it stays together, and grab yourself a rule book so you can know what the safety things you need to have on the bike to pass it tech. You do that. Anything you put together, they'll let you run out here as long as you can pass their tech.
Now, is that do you run what you brung category? I've heard of that.
Well, that's just kind of a motto out here.
Oh, okay.
There's
Okay.
just a lot of different classes, so no matter what you bring out here, there's probably a class for it. And that's what if anybody's interested, either go online or get a hold of the SCTA and get a rules book and look at all the different records they are, and just start going through in the classes and what each class takes and what each class you have to have for vehicle, motorcycle, car, whichever it is. They'll let you know what they are, and you just kind of use those guidelines and build what you got.
It's awesome. I gotta ask, when you're on the bike, even though you're only doing 70 and you're going down the salt, what are you thinking about? Just the other end of the course?
No, actually, I'm listening to the engine.
That's it.
I'm listening to the motor. I'm listening to the lifters because those are all exposed rockers on that 1916 motor. So it's an irreplaceable motor. So I don't beat on it too hard.
Right.
But I do take it up as fast as I can before she starts telling me that this is enough. So that's kind of what I'm listening to the motor. I've got the feeling of the whole motorcycle in my hands and between my legs, and you're kind of one with the bike for that 2.5 miles that I'm out there. So it's just you're just there. There's nothing going through my mind other than hearing what she has to tell me. That's kind of what it is. So
Complete centered being on top of the bike.
yes.
Yep. And how long do you get to keep that high after you leave the salt?
Oh, till the next year.
Nice.
You never forget that feeling.
Yeah.
In my book, and then when I get back out here, it's just like every run, that don't matter. Every time I pull up to that starting line, a good friend of mine told me, he says, if butterflies were cows, I'd have a whole herd. So it's a good thing. I mean, as many years as I've been doing it, and guys have been doing it longer than I have, you still get butterflies when you're up there for the very first time during the week.
Well, Jeff, we really appreciate you coming out here. And if there's anybody you want to plug, now's your time.
I would just like to thank the SCTA for helping me out and helping me to get to this point in my racing career. Everybody, Bill, Heather, Greg, all the, everybody in the SCTA are just been fantastic people. And like I said, they treat you like family here. You can't go wrong coming out. Get out there, like I said, get in your garage, build something, bring it out here and have some fun. You don't need to set records to have fun.
Yep.
You
All
just
right.
come out and have fun and enjoy the salt, because there's no other place like this on earth.
Yeah. It is different out here. Even though it's boiling, it's different.
It's nice. And, first week when you get home, you're glad to be home, but after about a month goes by, you just wonder, man, I kind of miss that.
Yeah, 10 months.
Don't know if I can
I don't
make
know
it.
if I can make it.
Well, that's why we have World Finals in October too out here. So you can always come out in October for World Finals
Okay.
and try and set records again one more time. It's a little shorter. It's like a long weekend instead of a whole week, but it's still a great time to come out.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
All right.
It's that again for us is up to our sponsors. So hint, people, the more you help us, the more that we'll come and go to these events. And so, we've been very lucky so far to put together what we have. And it's all to help others as a nonprofit. So what we want to do is provide services down the line for people that can't communicate what you just communicated. People are having problems. So if we can help them and get them more into a Zen state, whether it be on a motorcycle, a car, or walking down the street, we've done our job.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we're
Thank
all
you so
about.
much.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We really
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Yasmin got a couple of pictures of your bike, and unfortunately, we're going to use those as much as we can.
I hope you do. I hope you do. And it was the poster child this year.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Yeah.
So for the Bonneville 2024
Can
Speed
you still
Week-
get those posters?
Yes, you can buy them up at registration or at the merchant shack up there.
So
They should have them.
if Yasmin was able to get one, maybe you'd sign it for her?
Absolutely, I'd love to sign it for you.
All right, that'd be great.
And if you come by tomorrow, I'll even have some race shirts for you from my team.
Okay, well, we'll get some swag for you, too, that you can throw around to people, or you can keep yourself, or do whatever. And we really appreciate you coming over here and talking to us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming. Let's see if I can get this disc in.